Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Greetings, Assalamu alaikum. Um, it's 5:30, like 5:35 in the morning. Today is November 3rd, it's election day. They haven't officially announced the winner, but I'll give my opinions and stuff. I had these opinions before it got where it is, but I'll just share that before I get off. So this will be an update, I believe 2.5, 2.5 years since I started. A little bit behind schedule, obviously, as always. Should have did this in the mid of October. Just a lot going on this year, this season. So update that I've got for fall 2020, going back. So last time I updated was January, March, April of this year. Um, right after that, we had the George Floyd incident in Minneapolis, as well as uh, COVID-19 has kind of continued, but those have been the two biggest um, incidents, besides the election. Those three things: election, George Floyd protests, and COVID-19 would probably be a topic or title of this update. So, um, once George Floyd was killed, there were a lot of protests here in Atlanta, and I worked with our local um, representatives of the UNIA to find out what our response would be. And we wanted to make sure that we had at least a presence out during the protests and rallies. So after, like 2 days after George Floyd was killed, we started to go out to all the protests and at least have the flag, have the red, black, and green flag, and talk to people, try to organize and share the message of Marcus Garvey in this time. Um, Gun and everyday carry bag body armor. So I've never really been big on weapons and stuff like that, like guns and stuff. But recently, with everything going on, kind of had to like pick up a few things um, just to make sure, personally as well as family and friends and stuff are protected. But just, it's not really my personality, my style, but I'm definitely not gonna be a victim. I'm gonna be a survivor. So make sure you do what you got to do, make adjustments, you know, depending on the situation. But yeah, those are some of the things that I had to pick up recently, as well as a book bag. That's one thing I like about this. Like all this stuff can fit in a book bag. So um, if you see somebody with a book bag during a protest, be cautious. Talked about the cost of guns versus the cost of phones. So with all of this stuff going on, a couple of the big topics these past few months is firearms and ammunition. And people saying like, some people saying like guns are too expensive. They don't want to buy them; they're too expensive. But when I look at the cost of phones nowadays versus the cost of guns, like modern phones are gonna run you, a good phone gonna run you $1,000 plus. And some people got two phones. So if you can spend $1,000 on a phone, but you can't spend $500 on a firearm, I mean that says a lot. But yeah, I just wanted to note that, and don't make sure we put value on what's important, and not necessarily just entertainment and things like that. So um, self-defense, very important. Talk about shooting at targets versus shooting at a moving target, I guess. So when you're at the range, shooting paper targets, they don't move, they don't shoot back. But in reality, people are moving, people are shooting back. So I don't take too much out from being able to shoot well at the range. You gotta be able to shoot well under pressure in the actual circumstances and situation that is happening. So don't put too much stress on shooting at the gun range. I just use that to be familiar with the weapons. But more tactical training would be better. Curfew and tear gas. So yeah, one of the things when George Floyd was killed, um, here in Atlanta, they were doing protests, and one of the things that the city wanted to do to kind of protect the city and stop some of the vandalism and looting, they started a curfew where we had to come in. Well, they wanted everybody in by 9 o'clock. Then on one Friday, they dropped it down to 8 o'clock. They wanted everybody in by 8, but we were out there during those times. Some tear gas from one of those, but it's just interesting. One thing that's very interesting is the concept of gangsters, and whatever, whatever hardcore, whatever. Um, I'm in Atlanta. We in Atlanta. They got the whole APD out there. They call it National Guard. You got lines of military, suited out individuals, just in formation. For me, that would be like a perfect time to show how gangster somebody is, or how rebellious, or how against authority somebody is, or whatever. But at that time, I didn't see anybody really. There were a couple women, a couple children, and a few, like 3, 4 brothers, like adult brothers, and then 10 or 20 kids. So basically, I lost a lot of respect for so-called quote-unquote gangsters and things like that around that time, because it's like we do all this talking, we do all this threatening to one another. We even shoot and kill one another. But when the system is working against us, and it is in an obvious fashion, like George Floyd, and we still can't come together to fight against the system, and we're still kind of bickering with each other, I lost a lot of respect for quote unquote gangsters. So anybody that wasn't out during the protest, wasn't standing face to face with the police and the National Guard, your opinion really don't mean much to me at this point, because my question would just be, where were you, but speaking of that, when Rayshard Brooks was killed here in Atlanta in June, I think June 12th or something like that, there were a few brothers that came out at that time. So that was after George Floyd, after the National Guard. Rayshard Brooks was killed at the Wendy's here. The local community kind of took over the area. But even with that, very few men, very few quote-unquote gangsters, mostly children, mostly young men, 18, 19, that just had guns and just wanted to be out, doing what they wanted to do. So not a lot of level of organization, not a high level of discipline. But yeah, just, same question, like if we call ourselves this and that, gangster, nationalists, soldiers, when the shit hit the fan this year, where were you at? Like, I didn't see a lot of people. That's all. All right. So that's curfew, tear gas stuff. Next thing I talk about is vigilance. I was doing a lot of training. Well, not training, but like researching on firearms and stuff like that this year. And one of the things that I learned, one of the things I took away was vigilance. Like most of these situations happen in a close setting within 10 meters. So the key thing is knowing your surroundings, knowing the people that are around you, knowing the personalities of the people that are around you, and being able to detect, when things are not going the right way. And so that was one thing that I wanted to note and touch on. And that's one of the things that I've been focusing on, as opposed to being able to shoot 1,000 yards, a dime at 1,000 yards. It's just being aware of your surroundings, and being vigilant and conscious of the people that are around you. So, a couple other updates. So I've been promoted. Well, yeah, I was elected second vice president of the UNIA ACL Division 421. Was previously third vice president, appointed by the president, but was officially elected this year. So I'm proud of that. I've been appointed the first vice president of the Collective Black People Movement, and co-coordinator for the engineering department. I'm making these videos. I feel like I'm making these videos as a potential for potential future memory loss. I got a feeling I'm probably gonna have like Alzheimer's or dementia or something. So this will be a way for me to talk to myself as well as my children and whatever, and kind of remember who I am, what I'm doing, and why you're doing it. But that's just something for me personally. It don't mean nothing to you. It's just, this is my stuff. Um, it's for myself. Fat boy. I wrote fat boy. So I should look a little bit slimmer. You know what I'm saying? A little slimmer in the face. I've been working out a little bit with this coronavirus stuff. Haven't had to drive up to work as much, which has been very beneficial for me working out, cardio specifically, and adjusting my diet, slow down on the carbs. Yogurts have been pretty good to kind of keep my gut down. Um, but yeah, no carbs, high protein, and healthy fats. So avocados and tuna and stuff, omega threes. That's what he's been working on. But yeah, you kind of use fat, slimming down, keep doing that, stay healthy. Drive twice a week. Yeah, so like I was saying, I'm not driving as much to work. I used to drive every day, 1,000 miles a week. I'm driving like twice a day now. I mean, twice a week now. So down like 400 miles a week. So less driving, less stress on me, my body, my vehicle. Got a new vehicle, a 2004 Nissan Maxima. But yeah, just driving less, so got more time to do other things and should be more productive. COVID-19 cases, approximately 50,000 cases a day. This is probably about a month old information, but still getting cases of COVID. I don't really know anybody personally that's had it, so just keep washing your hands. Been taking vitamin C and multivitamins daily to kind of just stay proactive. COVID-19 businesses. So a lot of businesses have kind of gone out of business or been affected by COVID-19. One, they can't produce or allow their employees to come in and work, and then some restaurants can't allow customers to come in. So there've been a lot of businesses affected by COVID-19 that this year that have not been able to recover. So the outlook on businesses in 2021, it'll be interesting, and it'll be dependent upon who is able to survive 2020 COVID, and that's just assuming that 2021 we won't have any COVID issues. So just an update on businesses being affected by COVID-19. Election 2020 that's going on right now. We're talking about it down in my living room. They haven't officially announced the winner. It's very, very tight. My prediction, and this is a prediction that I've had for a little while, but what I think, and I mentioned to my wife, she kind of said something that made me think about my analysis. But I was thinking Biden, they were going to let Biden win because Trump's got so much support, especially with, I would say, white nationalists. If he won right now, white nationalists wouldn't really have anything to look forward to, and I don't think they would have much to fight for. But if he lost, then that would kind of wake up the white nationalists to give them something to fight for, as well as something to look forward to in the next 4 years. But if Trump won now, basically, I feel like the government and the people in power would have to come up with a new plan right now, because this will be Trump's last term, and they'd have to figure out, who would be next. So I feel like if they let Biden win, pending Trump lives, for that long, because these dudes is kind of up there. But inshallah, always, because I could go out tomorrow. But these guys are kind of up there in age, and I was thinking, just from a strategic standpoint, it would be smart if I was, up there controlling things. Let Biden win, piss off the Trump supporters, let the Trump supporters get mad, even have some reactions, but it will make things very tense for the next 4 years. And then when 2024 came around, all of those white nationalist Trump supporters, they'd have a lot to fight for, a lot to talk about, I guess. But if Trump wins now, I just don't see a lot of excitement in 2024. I feel like both the Republicans and the Democrats would have to start from scratch and kind of find new candidates. But that's just my opinion. I have no idea. But it makes the most sense to me to let Biden win now, to keep the fighting between Democrats and Republicans. Just my thoughts. 6-month commitment. I don't know if I say that. I feel like I say this a lot, but 6-month commitment. I gotta commit to that. This one has been tough. Just been a lot going on with the COVID stuff and the election specifically. I tried to make a video before, but I had an issue. But it's just so much going on. Really didn't know when would be a good time to make the video. It's almost like every day I wanted to make it, something new would be happening or a new update would be going on. So timing was difficult, but you got to commit to 6 months basically. Talk to myself. Rayshard Brooks. So June 12th, Rayshard Brooks was killed at a restaurant here in Atlanta. Immediately after that, as I said, community kind of took control of the area, held control of the area for almost a month, until on July 4th, young girl Sequoia Turner was killed due to a disagreement between the driver of the vehicle that she was in and some of the demonstrators at the Rayshard Brooks Memorial. But at any rate, there was a brother killed here in Atlanta by Atlanta police, and we're still working to do the best that we can to make sure that his name is remembered positively, and that changes can be made to address systemic racism and police brutality, specifically here in Atlanta and throughout the nation. So Rayshard Brooks feeding program, we're still continuing our feeding program. Actually, we haven't done it in a couple weeks now, just because it's getting cold. But we were doing the feeding program, contributing about $300 a month, $150 every 2 weeks. This is with the UNIA, Collective Black People Movement, New Era Atlanta, Moorish Science Temple of Atlanta, Nation of Islam, Mosque 15B, and the United Sabaeans. Basically spearheaded by Nation of Islam, Brother Gerald X. Just calling all of these organizations together. We come together at the Moorish Science Temple on Saturday. We all bring different items. We come together and make 50 bags for 50 families with those items. Then we put them in our cars and we go out to different communities and we give out the food. But that's what we've been doing. We're going to try to keep doing it. It's our feeding program. Zoom meetings. We're still doing Zoom meetings. So this year, a lot of in-person meetings have gone down and everybody's doing online Zoom meetings, but we've been kind of ahead of the curve on that. But my point is just that we're still hosting those. We got Zoom meetings every Sunday, as well as every other Tuesday we're doing study groups. We're trying to pick up the CPM engineering department meetings as well, but just a lot going on. But I'm continuing to support the Zoom meetings. President has got me doing the member share portion now, so the second half of all the meetings. I kind of host the member share, all right. The member share that's the place where we give anybody that's on the call opportunity to share anything that they want, whether it's personal, business, or political, whatever. So I kind of just, call on people, different areas throughout the nation primarily. 100-year RBG. So, for the UNIA this year, August 2020 was a 100-year celebration of the red, black, and green flag. Division 421, President Ross Marvin led the 24-hour Zoom celebration. So we held a 24-hour celebration, had all of the different divisions come together on Zoom and, celebrate the founding of the government and the creation of the red, black, and green flag. But very historic, very memorable. I'll try to remember to put a link or something to those videos. Probably won't do it, but I'll do that. I'll try to do that. But yeah, this year we celebrate 100 years of the red, black, and green flag. You don't know nothing about it, you better ask somebody. But just very proud and humbled to be a part of that. I can't really speak on it too. I can't say enough about it. Very proud moment, But for me, I feel like I'm still relatively young at 35, so I can't harp on it and harp on my laurels. I got to keep working. So I'm proud to be a part of it, but we got to keep building. Not self. So the last thing I got, one of the last things I got is you're not yourself when you're overweight. I've seen videos of myself when I was kind of bigger, and I don't even I know I'm not myself when I'm bigger. So you're not yourself when you're big. If you over 220, you're probably not yourself. So keep your weight down. Stay healthy. As best you can. Cardio. Eat right. The last thing is 2020 being the year of the mask. So early in the year, I was diagnosed with, I think it was this year. Last year I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. But this year I finally got one of the machines. So this was the first mask that I got this year. Interesting. Thought this would be the only mask that I wore. But yeah. CPAP machine, that's one mask. Second mask that I got, probably my proudest one, is Defund the Police mask. So Defund the Police is not just a statement, it's a strategy. There's a lot to it. It doesn't just mean take all the money away from the cops. It means redirect some of the additional funding, the unnecessary funding, the military funding to community-based programs that would prevent the need for police. Because, police is a reactive measure. By the time you call the police, things have already happened. So defund the police is look at some of the proactive measures that we can put in place to prevent incidents from happening. So this was the second mass protesting throughout the year. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So protesting a lot, especially through the summer. And then the third mask, the one I recently got and one I'm about to use today, is this breathing restrictor mask. But it's been good to help increase lung capacity and oxygen efficiency and good things like that. So this is helping me get in shape. Got to keep working on it. But that's all I've got. Like I said, this update has been it's fairly focused. It's so much going on as far as society and social in the world that, from a personal standpoint, I don't have much personally. This year and this time has been about just strictly surviving, doing the best that I can to survive. I also got my UNIA citizenship. We did the orientation late last year. I should have had this during the last update, but I didn't have it framed. And we're supposed to do another orientation late this month. I've been presenting. Well, I presented the last one. That was the first one, and I'll probably present this one too. But proud of that as well. But as far as me personally, not much. Still working on my DFSS. I'm up to chapter 10. I got to actually work on that today. Hadn't been able to read many books. Been playing fucking Xbox. You can get the hell off that shit. But yeah, and doing some personal development stuff. That's all I really got. I don't want to make this too long. 25 minutes. Um, I'll catch y'all at update 3.0, inshallah. That's all I got. All right, peace out.